back to Beyond the Scenes. My name's Andreas Beck, and I'm with my co-host, Melanie Querry. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Today, we're going to go into some insights about display advertising specifically. And as everybody knows, you go to a website or you're going to an app, you're seeing those display ads. They're little squares or little rectangles, or they're vertical ads, and we're inundated with them. And that's really how the internet gets a lot of its revenue. So today we're going to talk about some insights of that. So Melanie, why don't you start us off?
Sure. So just to back up, to explain what the display ads are, they are what I call the pretty ads, usually that are branding a company or selling a service. And sometimes they're square and they're right in the middle of the article you're reading. Often they're, headers at the top of a website or at, in an article you're reading, and those are called leaderboards. Sometimes they're on the side. So those vertical ads that you see kind of coming in when you're on your news website, or you're just doing some research on Google
So what's the value of this? Why would someone even want to do these?
Well, they're being provided by Google. Google is really smart and knows what you're reading or what you're looking for, what you're looking at on the internet. And so, we talk about Google so much because Google really is king. But, with respect to any search engine, they're pushing those ads into what you're reading and what you're looking for and what you're searching. And so in this particular situation where you have these display ads that are kind of falling all over the place, the reason why they're great is because they're being pushed into those articles or into those websites based off of content. So if I'm in the market for a new roof and I'm looking and I'm reading and learning about roofs, because it's not something that I know about, but all of a sudden I want to know everything there is, because that's what we do. It's human nature, is to do as much research as we can about topics we don't know about, and all the information is out there. So as I'm reading an article about roofs and what type of roofs and what kind should I get or what's the material, and an ad might come in that's from a roofing company. And that's critical from the business side. It's also critical from the consumer side and from even a B2B standpoint. And so the ads really are important because of the messaging that you can put into them. If someone sees that ad, they can click on it and, of course, come to your website. So that's trackable, and that's always nice to know where your money is being spent and how it's being spent. The ads also can be included in a remarketing campaign as well.
So there's basically a funnel, right? So you're now in the research phase and you're trying to understand roofing in this particular case, and you're seeing an ad for XYZ roofing company from your local area.
Exactly. And so they're content related, which I don't think most people understand or know about. And that's when you're building the campaign. As long as your website is up to par and your website has the proper SEO built into it, then those display ads are going to fall in line in websites that they need to fall into. There are ways.
Well, you were mentioning the remarketing aspect of it too.
Yeah.
So for display, with display, there's so many different ways of doing it, and Google's just one vendor that we use. But with the remarketing aspect of it, what's the value of the remarketing side of things?
Right. So in today's world, while Google's king, Google isn't the only player. And from a remarketing standpoint, there are lots of platforms that you can utilize for remarketing. And for remarketing, the critical piece to it would be those display ads. So there are 17 different sizes that you can have designed. And those 17 different ad sizes are individual ads. Again, I mentioned, there's sort of a leaderboard and sometimes that vertical ad or a square ad, and there's other sizes as well. And so you want to have all 17 sizes designed. From a remarketing standpoint, if someone comes to your website, there's code that can be placed on your website for various platforms. And then when someone goes to those various platforms, they then will see your ad. And the beauty of that is that someone who's seeing your ad after they've been to your site, well, they're pretty pre-qualified. They've already been to your site. And so now we want to remind them. We want to remind them of what you have to offer, and we want to create that call to action. So those display ads should have a call to action message in them, and they allow us to remarket to people who are out there in the World Wide Web. They allow us to remarket to people who are on Facebook or Instagram specifically. Even Twitter has a remarketing tool.
Absolutely.
And so all these different platforms, unfortunately, it has become segregated. They really do provide their own strategy, and the messaging, of course, would be cohesive throughout.
So from the roofer's perspective, we want to basically, if someone's looking up roofing, we want you to be relevant from a display perspective. And then once they've been to your site and there are maybe 5 different companies that they're looking at for roofing, all of a sudden they're seeing your ad over and over and over again. Like, you can't get away from it. And there's a psychology going on where the consumer starts to gain trust in your brand. If you have the creative side, which we didn't even get into yet really as much as we could, if you have that beautiful branding and then it matches to the website, and you see that and you just see it again and again, you see it on CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, and then you see it on the New York Times. There's such credibility to that. So now all of a sudden you gain trust in that specific roofer, and you're going to click that ad, or you're just going to say, okay, I'm just going to check it on my phone or just look it up with a Google search, and that's the goal. And then you're going to give them a call, and you're going to give them a call with 2 or 3 other people to get quotes, and we want to get that person in the quote process.
Right. The ultimate goal is that conversion, to get them to buy, take action, purchase your product, hire you, whatever that end result is that you want. That's that final conversion that we're going for. But at that starting point, the idea is to really layer the platforms if you can, if you have the budget for it. And so that Google search campaign is important, because when someone searches for your service or product, we want you to come up prominently, because that's that search phase when someone is doing their research or learning more. And, they don't always click on the ad right away. They're doing their research, and they may then come upon you and start to read about you, and now they're on your website. Then they're going to be remarketed to. And so there's that cycle of creating that frequency. In the traditional terms of media, we talk about reach and frequency. And with digital, it's the same thing. We want to reach them while they're searching or researching, or after they've been to the site. And then we want to really create that frequency. So hitting them over and over again, creating that top of mind awareness.
Yeah, there's really a path to success for digital marketing. And of course, there's traditional marketing as well. So you could do television or billboards. But from the digital side, there's this path that we want to take. And along the way, you've got these bus stops theoretically, and you're stopping at each one. And along that path, we're just making sure that you are top of mind the whole way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Thanks for joining Beyond the Scenes. We'll see you next time.